The road to Delilah's barber shop. From before he was born, he was ordained to be great, but a series of events helped change his fate. He was destined to be, for Israel, a great deliverer. He was a good starter, but not a great finisher. His mother was told not to drink wine or eat anything unclean. Neither should he take part of these. He had a clean cuisine. As for his hair, it should not be cut at all. Consecrated to God as a Nazarite from since he was small. In due time, the divine promise was fulfilled at Samson's birth. He grew to have extraordinary strength, height, and girth. His incredible physique made him quite attractive. How the ladies saw him and became so reactive. His hometown was really close to the Philistine town, so he started to mingle with them and hang around. A particular young woman in Timnath caught his eye. He wanted to make her his wife. He won't be denied. His God-fearing parents tried to convince him otherwise to no avail. She pleases me well, he said to them without fail. So the marriage took place, much to their displeasure. All Samson cared about was women, party, and leisure. At the wedding feast were those who hated Israel's God. That same night, his new wife betrayed him. How odd. Upset, he went home, then went back after he changed his mind and found that his bride had remarried. He felt maligned. For spite and in revenge, he went to the Philistine fields and destroyed all the vineyards and crops, his anger to wield. You would think that he learned his lesson that day, but he was a hard man to convince, at all to sway. Now Samson had demonstrated his strength. A young lion he killed. When tied up with 2 new ropes, he burst them through. How skilled he seemed to be. He killed 1,000 men with a donkey's jaw. People wondered about the source of his strength with awe. Plans were set in place to capture this strong man. When he went to visit a prostitute from their land, locking the Gaza city gate, the people thought they had the victory. Samson wrenched the gate from its place, much to their misery. Another ill-fated event from which he should learn. Each time he broke a vow to God's will, he was not concerned. Yet God did not leave him. He had a plan still. Everything that was happening was to fulfill God's will. To his sensuous pleasures, Samson continued to seek. When he met Delilah, his heart went weak. More broken covenants that were tied to his purity, now lost to women and wine, slowly losing his security. The secret to his power they wanted to discover, so they bribed Delilah and she went undercover. She questioned him day in and day out, but the secret to his strength would not leave his mouth. He deceived her about the secret to his strength, and she tested each one and got nothing. She was bent on getting the answer in any way that she could, even to say, "If you love me, then you would." 3 times she was disappointed. 3 times he should know that they were plotting against him, his strength to overthrow. But he treated the matter as a simple joke, until one day he let his guard down and finally spoke. "No razor has ever come upon my head," he declared. Now Delilah thought this to be another trick. She feared, "If you shave my head, then my strength would leave. I will become weak like other men. Do you believe?" Delilah sent message to the Philistines, "Come without delay." Sleeping peacefully at her side, and as Samson lay, the men chopped off the masses of hair from his head. Did he feel anything? After all, sleep is like being dead. "The Philistines are coming, Samson!" Delilah called to him. He jumped up to defend, but his strength was dim. His powerless arms refused to give power as before. How easily now the Philistine men took him through the door. God had been patient with him time and time again. When we go so far into sin, he's still waiting on men. But this time, God left Samson. All the strength he gave was removed from him. Himself he could not save. Unsure of their success, Delilah tested Samson again. She annoyed him so much it caused him pain. For the Philistines dare not come near him yet, until they were convinced he had no strength when met. Just like that, his eyes were put out. He was taken as prisoner in chains all about. Weak, blind, degraded, and confined to hard labor. At this point, he must have wondered, where is the Savior? A feast was set in honor of the fish god Dagon to celebrate the victory over Israel and Samson. The vast temple was crowded, all the galleries and roof. A scene of festivity and rejoicing. Samson was their proof. But little did they know what was about to take place, as they mocked and jeered at Samson to his face. Weary Samson, asked to rest between two pillars tall, God was about to end this charade once and for all. To God he cried, "Remember me, strengthen me, I pray." Then he encircled the pillars and bowed himself that day, as the roof came tumbling down in one big crash. Everyone inside was killed. No one could make a dash. If Samson had been faithful, what a glory it would have been. To the nation of Israel, God's delivering power to be seen. This physically strong man was ultimately quite weak, in self-control, integrity, and firmness, so to speak. There is so much we can learn from this tragic tale about lust, choice of spouse, and temptations to prevail, of earthly pleasures and sinful desires only God can help us to stop, so that we do not end up on the road to Delilah's barbershop.